It took an almost 7 periods of overtime and almost 6 hours to complete this NHL game. On today's episode of Hockey History, we take a look back at the longest game ever played in the NHL. The date, March 24 and 25, 1936, and the Detroit Red Wings and the now defunct Montreal Maroons were about to play game number 1 in their best-of-5 Stanley Cup semifinals. Both teams had finished first in their respective divisions, and the winner would ultimately go on to win the Stanley Cup. In goal for the Detroit Red Wings that night was a young rookie by the name of Norm Smith, who would go on to make 90 saves in that game. In goal for the Montreal Maroons was Laurent Chabot, who just 3 years earlier was the winning goaltender for the Maple Leafs in what had been up to that point the longest playoff game in NHL history. This night, however, he would go on to make 66 saves for the Maroons. The game remained scoreless after 60 minutes of play and would remain scoreless after the first period of overtime, and the second, and the third, and the fourth and fifth as well. Finally, in the sixth period of overtime, at 4:46 mark, the game between the Red Wings and the Maroons had become the longest game played in NHL history. The game that seemingly was never going to end finally ended. At 16:30 of the sixth overtime period on the following day after it started, at 2:25 a.m., the winning goal was finally scored by another young Red Wing rookie that year, Moder Mud Brunato. The Maroons were never able to recover from that Game 1 loss, ultimately losing the series in 3 straight games. The Red Wings would ultimately go on to win their first Stanley Cup against the Leafs in the finals. But it was that goal, the only goal scored in Game 1 of the series by Mud Brunato, that made hockey history as being the longest game ever played in the NHL.